U of I carries the biggest.
Right, so the state, yeah, SERS is, that's the same,
Gotcha.
that's a good point, that is the same system that covers the University of Illinois.
What's U of I's?
A lot bigger. I don't know. It's a lot bigger.
It's divided out, and it's like, for example, U of I Chicago is 64 million.
Well, no,
U of I Urbana,
That might be the on behalf payments.
I'm looking at the wrong.
It might be
Oh,
your
sorry, I'm
shared
moving
pension
over.
liability.
Yeah, here we go.
Moving over, 4.8 billion.
Oh, right.
So a lot bigger.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they take.
4% of the total debt.
Yeah, I guess not to, I think it is a situation I think everybody's aware of, and obviously there are some significant actuarial assumptions that go into that number. It's obviously a very large number, and I think to get caught up in the details of whether it's 300 million or 200 million or is kind of missing the point. I think regardless, it is a big number, and it's something that I'm sure will continue to be a focus. So, moving on, we are required to communicate if we have any audit adjustments, and this year we had 2 fairly minor audit adjustments. So these are restatements to the books and records of the college that come up through the audit process that we propose and discuss with management, and that we end up recording to the final financial statements. Again, both the 2 we found this year that were discussed are fairly minor. As Tara mentioned, they're nothing that would change our opinion on the financial statements of the college. And then finally, if there is any misstatements or corrections we find that the college elects not to make, we're required to correct that, to communicate that as well, and we did not have any this year. Additionally, I believe we provided a draft of what our required communications on control deficiencies. This year we just had 2 control deficiencies to report. That's consistent with the prior year. And these are the lowest level of control deficiencies, so we did not raise them to either be considered a significant deficiency or a material weakness, which would be either higher in scope or have the potential to create a material misstatement or material issue for the college. So the 2 specific control deficiencies, the first comes out of just some minor issues in how grant revenues were recorded and recognized by the college. And then the second one just is an IT issue with administrator access and how some changes are recorded or put through the IT system. But both of these are, again, the lowest level deficiency we report. They're fairly minor, and management has been proactive and is already in process of addressing and correcting these issues going forward. So next I'd like to just cover the highlights of our grant compliance work. Again, we do significant work over both federal and state grants received by the college. As Tara mentioned earlier, we did issue unmodified opinions on these grants. So although we had a few small issues we'll discuss, nothing that would change our opinion on the overall compliance of the college. This year we tested just one federal grant program, that being the Student Financial Aid Cluster. In the past 2 years we've actually tested the TAA grant, which is a Department of Labor grant as well, but the audit requirements are such that we did not have to test that this year. We noted one compliance finding with the Student Financial Aid Program that compares to 2 in the prior year. And similar to the control deficiencies we just discussed, this is a very minor issue that had to deal with how student enrollment data is reported and processed through the National Student Loan Database. There were just some students that when the college submitted the change in that student's attendance status, it just didn't get uploaded properly into the student loan database. And again, the financial aid department is working to figure out what exactly happened, but they're actively correcting this issue. The 2 compliance findings that we did have last year were addressed and corrected during the current year, so those are not repeat findings. And then we did just have one unallowable expenditure that we found during one of our ICCB grant testing. This just happens to be a grant that's not included in the comprehensive annual financial report, so you won't see that formally communicated as a question cost or reported as a finding, but management's aware of that and is working to with the ICCB to correct that and return the funds. So I think as mentioned a couple times already, but the final bullet point is that management continues to be proactive in addressing any control issues or compliance issues that come out of this testing. So I think just the last slide here is we just wanted to highlight the work we do with the foundation. As Tara mentioned, that report is included as a component unit of the college, but is also issued as a standalone audit report. We do plan on issuing an unmodified audit opinion for the college's foundation. We had no control deficiencies or significant audit issues come up with the college's foundation, and then we do a separate presentation to the foundation's finance committee. That's currently scheduled for November 13th, 2015. So we'll go into a bit more detail with them. We also issue a required communication letter to the foundation as well, and we will cover that with the foundation's finance committee at that meeting. So finally, as Tara mentioned, this was our third year for both Tara and I working with the college, and we appreciate the opportunity to continue to be a service to the college. Our contact information is up there as well, so if there is anything that comes up throughout the audit year, we're open and available to discuss that with the college. So thank you, and if there's any questions, we can.
Questions for the group? So really say, I think thank you to David and Andy, our finance staff. Really, if there aren't any questions, just did another great job. Go
I
ahead.
have a question. Specifically on page 6, the auxiliary fund, there was a transfer out. Where is that going? And the fact that it is significantly less in 2015, does that mean that the destination is being harmed? Yes, transfers net. The $3 million, it took place in 2014, and in 2015 is significantly less. So the destination of that $3 million, was the destination fund harmed, I guess, because of the decrease, or where is that money going? I guess that's the first question.
I'll probably ask management for help on exactly where that went, because I don't know off the top of my head.
The transfers were for actually two different reasons. If the board can recall way back then, we did several transfers from several funds for the master plan, and we have been carrying a significant balance in the auxiliary funds, which are not part of fund balance, and so we decided to use that for the master plan. The 2015 transfer is to the education fund from the bookstore, correct?
Correct.
And so that's a way that the bookstore profit, if you will, helps out the education fund, and that's in essence about $2 a credit hour in tuition.
Any other questions? Which were board approved?
Which are work. If I could build on what Dr. Weber said, we really do have to recognize our controller, Andy Williams. One of the goals that we set out and that you all supported was not only that we hire a team of certified public accountants, but that we bring all of our audit work in-house so that people who are outside the organization can see how we truly handle our funds. And this was the final year of the transition that Andy has done this and brought all of the work in-house. And I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but we were spending over $300,000 a year just on preparing for the auditor to come in. And now Andy and his team are doing that in-house, and he's really done a fine job for the college.
I think I want to echo what Dr. Weber says. Thank you guys very much. Very professional. This is the way it should be. This is what makes us proud to be part of the College of Lake County. And thank you.
Very good. I have another question. Page 5, there is a 3.5. Essentially, the college can sustain itself for just under 4 months, right, without any revenues coming in. I think you mentioned that this is very close to our peers. Can you speak to this, or somebody, David, in your group can speak to this 3.7? Is that a number that we should be happy with?
You should be happy. What I've seen, and I don't know if I'd call it best practice, but I know the rating agencies, for example, like to see at least 2 months. But I've seen some that are higher than this. We need to keep in mind as well, it doesn't take into account all of our cash throughout all of the college. So working cash, for example, but this is the right way to report it to you all, just keeping it on the education fund. But if a true catastrophic emergency happened, we have a lot of other options at our disposal.
And working cash would be what right now?
The total amount is about $15 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and this calculation is a very extreme situation, meaning that all revenues would completely stop, which, I mean, it's just for purposes of this calculation to have consistency across, you know, your peers and how that's measured. That would be very unlikely.
This also shows us how much, how little force state revenues are to the College of Lake County.
You know, in addition, it's a fair amount. It protects us, it gives us some sense of security, but it's not, there are, quite frankly, a few of our peers who are up in 80 to 100%, which
Or
is...
more.
Or more. I was going to say that, but that's true. Or more, which we think isn't correct. Right?
For
So,
what? Well, it's not being good custodians of
Yeah.
taxpayer money.
Okay,
okay.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Everyone, have a good night.
Thank you very much. Good.